What up, guys? Mad Scientist 7890 here. It's going to be a hip hop science video with this one right here. You don't want to talk about I gave you my top 5 hip hop artists to definitely look out for in 2012. Some guys who've done some stuff in 2010, going into 2011, and then finally 2012 possibly breaking out, really becoming a lot more known, definitely becoming maybe big superstars and definitely in hip hop music. So I'm definitely going to start off here, number 5. And it's actually a two-way tie for 5, and the reason I did that is because it's 2 producers, and the only producers I have on this list, and I have them at 5, so I'm just going to put them as a tie. And that the first one is Clams Casino. Clams Casino produced a lot of the production on, a lot of the beats on the A$AP Rocky album that came out this year, Live Love A$AP. The lyrics were okay, but the production what put it over as a pretty good album. I liked it. And I'm not a huge fan of swag hip hop, but I did enjoy this just because of the production. I really enjoyed the production. I thought it was really dark. And then also, Clams Casino came out with an EP called Rainforrest, which has some of the most interesting beats I've heard all year from 2011. So definitely check that out. Next one is producer is Apollo Brown. Apollo Brown produced an album this year, a mixtape called Clouds, with just instrumentals on it. It was great. I loved it. Produced one of my favorite albums from 2010, pretty much all of it, I believe. The Left Gas Mask, which was absolutely great. He does a great job taking old samples from older songs and putting them in there and putting the beats behind them. It's so good. And then came out with, in 2011, one of my favorite albums of the entire year, Son Mackey and Apollo Brown, Daily Bread, which was absolutely great. I think it's in my top 10 to top 5 albums of 2011. I liked it that much because the production was so good. But yeah, I definitely could see him even going on further into 2012 and working with even more well-known, like I said, more well-known artists, because the production is so good, and it gets some guys like some really, really good lyricists on some of his production. You could have him looking at some really good stuff. So yeah, that's Apollo Brown and Clams Casino at number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna go with the guy, and like I said before, I'm not a huge fan of swag rap, but this guy's kind of growing on me. Some friends kind of turned me on to him, and I listen to him occasionally, and I like to listen to some of the bangers he comes out with, and that's the Joker, THA Joker, I guess for copyright reasons or whatever. But dropped some mixtapes. Dropped a mixtape called Why So Serious, which I found really entertaining. The production on it was pretty solid by the Big Fruit production, whatever they are, and yeah, and the thing about him, instead of, unlike other swag rappers, is he's actually a pretty solid, decent lyricist. He can rap, actually. So, I was very surprised with that when I first started listening to this guy. I was like, oh, crap, gonna be another Waka Flocka, gonna be another Gucci type guy. This guy's a lot better rapper than those guys. So I would definitely say check out the Joker. Like I said, I think he dropped an album at the end of 2011 called The Phenom. It's not bad. I didn't think it was as good as some of the mixtapes he did, but it was still good. And I think in 2012 he definitely could blow up and be the next Soldier Boy type, Roscoe Dash type guy who gets out there and gets known. So that's number 4. Number 3, XV. XV, has his own lane with a couple of other guys like Lupe and Kid Cudi. He basically he's kind of like a nerdy type rapper guy, but he's still a good lyricist. He dropped a mixtape called Zero Heroes this year, and was really good. Had some really fun and enjoyable sound, tracks on it. Some really good production, and overall he's just a pretty good rapper. I know some of you guys might have heard a song that's actually been featured in some commercials called Awesome, and he actually has a music video on MTV, I believe now. But definitely check out for XV. He's definitely going to be somebody to really look for, because I think there's a lane for guys like him and like Cudi and Lupe, and fans like that kind of intellectual type rapper, compared to the swag type guy. So I really liked his mixtape. I definitely would say check it out. You can find all the stuff on YouTube. So that's XV. Number 2, this guy dropped a free mixtape this year, and a lot of people were considering it one of the best album mixtapes of the year, and that's Danny Brown. Dropped a mixtape called Triple X for free, and he really wants to get his name out there. Very impressed with this. Very, very impressed. I thought that Danny Brown is eccentric. He's kind of guy that I would not expect, you know, to rap the way he does. He has really interesting voice and comes off really, you know, bizarre, and he kind of like, you know, he's totally not like everybody else that's out here right now, and that's why Triple X was such a enjoyable listen. I didn't have it top 10 on my list, but I did have it on my list of top 30 albums. It was very good. But I would definitely say check out Danny Brown, and if you can work a little bit more with some more known producers, get a little bit out there more, definitely could blow up. I know he worked with Black Milk on a mixtape called Black and Brown, so that was not bad. So definitely check out that stuff from Danny Brown. And my number one artist to definitely check out for 2012. Kind of put off listening to this mixtape, and I'd heard a lot of things from Dead in Hip Hop about this mixtape, and I just kept putting it off, and I was like, oh, I'll get to it when I feel like it. I'll get to it when I feel like it. And I finally did, and I listened to it. I loved it. It was one of the most enjoyable listens I had all year. I still listen to it now. I listen to it over and over again. There's at least 7 tracks on there on this mixtape I'm going to tell you about that I listen to now that I still like, and that's Logic, Young Sinatra. You know, I had this actually number 4 on my top 30 albums and mixtapes. I liked it that much. You know, he used a lot of samples from different people, a lot of different beats that, you know, that are not his, but it really doesn't matter. I think his flow is so good. He has like a Mac Miller kind of sound, but like 10 times better. And I think that's really important. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Mac Miller, and I started listening to this guy when I first heard him. I'm like, oh crap, sounds like Mac Miller. And then he started flowing, and then he started rapping, and then to the beat, and he's such a good lyricist. And the thing about this guy is a young cat. He's like 19 or 20. He's younger than me. Came out with this album, and the funny thing is, he looks exactly like, you know, Frank Sinatra when he was young. So I think that's a really cool idea, and definitely some of the best stuff I've heard all year is from Logic on this mixtape. This guy's gonna blow up huge in 2012. This was great, and hopefully does still try to do some of the same stuff he did with this, because if so, you could be looking at one of the best albums of all of 2012 if he does an album next year or this year. So yeah, that's Logic, Young Sinatra. Go cop that mixtape. If I was going to tell you to cop any mixtape from all of 2011, it would be that. It was that good. Very, very, very good. So definitely check out Logic. Great. Definitely the number 1 guy I think is going to break out in 2012. I'm the Mad Scientist. Been a hip hop science video. And I'm out of here, guys. Peace.